Congresswoman-elect Ayanna Presley. Woo! Thank you, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Woo! But most importantly, thank you, Clayton County, Fayette County, Henry County. Thank you. You see, we are 28 days from real change.
28 days.
28 days before we tell Georgia who we are.
Yes.
And when we change Georgia, we change the South.
Yes.
And when we change the South, we change America.
Yes.
And that change starts right here.
Yes.
Because the thing of it is, blue waves aren't blue. That's what we use because that's the color that we embrace. But the thing of it is, a blue wave is African American.
Yes.
It's white, it's Latino, it's Asian Pacific Islander.
Yes.
It is disabled. It is differently abled.
Yes.
It is LGBTQ.
Yes.
It is law enforcement.
Yes.
It is veterans.
Yes.
It is made up of those who've been told that they are not worthy of being here.
Yes.
It is comprised of those who are documented and undocumented.
Yes.
It's made up of those who've been told they are successful and those who've been told they are left behind.
Yes.
But the real wave is when we come together and we tell Georgia, we're here and we're not going anywhere. Because when we build this blue wave is going to change our state.
Yes.
From Dade County down to Camden County.
Yes.
From Chattooga to Colquitt.
All right.
And I've been to all 159 counties, so I can do this all day. But I'll tell you, it doesn't matter which county I'm in. It doesn't matter if I'm down in Donaldsonville or in Jonesboro. If I'm in Kirkwood or Hampton. No matter where I am, people want the same things. We want the freedom and the opportunity to thrive. We want to be able to educate our children from cradle to career.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we can build a thriving and diverse economy in all 159 counties.
Yes.
And we want to be more than the best place in which to do business. We want to be the best place to live and work and raise a family. We want to be a state where we say yes to bringing big companies so people can have jobs, but we also want to invest in helping 5,000 small businesses create 10 jobs each, because those are 50,000 jobs that never leave Georgia. We know that climate change is real.
Yes.
And that renewable energy can create 25 to 45,000 jobs in the state of Georgia.
Yes.
We know that we can't just have rhetoric about our healthcare system. That we have to have a governor who will expand Medicaid on day one. And we have to have a governor who has more than 7 words to say about the lives of Georgians.
Yes.
We've got to have a candidate who has more than a few promises to make about the teachers who educate our children.
Yes.
And we've got to have a governor who understands that you can't talk about school safety without talking about gun safety. This is a clear choice, and this is one of the places where my opponent and I agree. This is a race to decide who we are.
Yes.
But the thing of it is, I spent the last 11 years in the legislature working to make us who we are.
Yes.
And I've worked across the aisle to get money into public transit, to make sure that Clayton County got its buses back. I spent 11 years in the legislature making sure that we protected our teachers from those who would take away our public education system. And I'm the only one who says I don't want to be the education governor. I'm going to be the public education governor. And I'm not going to tell folks who are waiting to get to see a doctor down in Cook County who live in Clay County and just lost their pharmacy. Folks who live in Stewart County and Cuthbert who haven't seen a hospital in years. I'm not going to tell them that the solution to their problem is innovation. The solution to their problem is a doctor. And I'm the only candidate with a plan to bring health care to all of Georgia. But I'm also the only one who's willing to stand on the principles I hold to be true. That we can have criminal justice reform in Georgia, that the work that has been done by Governor Deal is extraordinary work, but it is not finished yet. Yes. And I know this personally. I have a younger brother who is in and out of the criminal justice system because he has mental health issues and drug abuse issues. And right now, the best place in the state of Georgia to get health care for your mental health challenges is not our hospitals, it's our jail system. And we have to have a governor who believes not just in retribution, but believes in redemption. And that is why I'm running to be the next governor. But with 28 days to go, I can't do it alone. Because this isn't about me.
We got you. We got you.
This isn't about me. It's not about Ayanna. It's not about Elizabeth. It's not about us. It's about all of us.
That's right.
I need you all to vote because you know that voting changes things.
Yes.
And if we had any confusion, just close your eyes and remember November 2016. But the thing of it is, you all are crowded into this room and you are a glorious sight. But we need more of you.
That's right.
Because Democrats, we don't lose elections because we don't have the voices. We lose elections because we don't vote. But I don't agree with folks who call it apathy. Because apathy assumes you don't care.
That's right.
Folks care, they just don't know why they should.
That's right.
Because we haven't had enough candidates willing to talk truth about what's possible if we do our work. So if you know a Walter, if you were a Walter, if you know someone who knows a Walter, tell them that we need them to vote so that criminal justice reform remains real and we can decriminalize being poor in the state of Georgia. If you are in the military and you believe in the future of Georgia,
Yes.
tell them they've got to vote because I'm the only candidate pledging to end veteran homelessness in the state of Georgia. If you have a job, in fact, if you have 2 or 3 of them, and you know somebody who's struggling to make ends meet despite doing everything they've been told to do, tell them help is on the way, but I need them to help themselves by voting for me on November 5th. Because we can do this. We've got the votes. We've got the values. And if we will lift up our voices, we will ring and resound across the state of Georgia and around the country, and no one will ever doubt our capacity anymore. That is who we are, and that's what we've got coming. But I can't do it without you, so I need you to remember 3 things. Number 1, registration ends when?
Today. 5 p.m.
5 p.m. There you go. So make sure you use these wonderful camera phones and call folks and tell them. I know y'all are doing that. Number 2, October 15th opens early voting in person. I need y'all to flood the polls. I need there to be not a single polling place that isn't filled with voters ready to change history. And on November 6th, I need you to stand with me so that we kick those gates down and open the state up. I was telling folks about my first visit to the governor's mansion. When I was 17 years old, I graduated as valedictorian of my high school in DeKalb County. And you know, when you're valedictorian, you get invited to meet the governor of Georgia. I was very excited about it. But my mom and dad and I, we didn't have a car, so we went on MARTA. And when we get to the governor's mansion, the governor is inside, and I can see the mansion. I'm very excited because I watched a lot of Dynasty as a child. And I'm ready to go inside and introduce myself. I'm ready to try out what I understood are called canapes. I was very excited. And my mom and dad and I, we walked up the sidewalk and we walked up the driveway and we got to the guard station, and the guard looked at us, but he didn't ask for our invitation. He didn't look at the checklist he had on the clipboard in his hands. Instead, he just looked at me and my parents and said, "You don't belong here." He told us it was a private event. My dad said, "Yes, we know, we're invited." But he didn't ask us for our invitation. He looked over my shoulder. And when he looked over my shoulder, he saw the bus that was pulling away, a bus that was taking people to good paying jobs, taking folks to their futures, taking folks to opportunity. And he saw only that we were on a public bus. And he looked at my parents again and he said, "Look, I told you this is a private event, you don't belong here." And he waited for us to leave. But you see, I'm the daughter of Robert and Carolyn Abrams.
All right.
And my parents moved us here from Mississippi because they were becoming ministers. But they weren't pastors yet. And so they had a really good conversation with this gentleman that really questioned his decision-making skills. And my father may have mentioned where he was going to spend eternity if he didn't figure this out. And so he decided to check his checklist and he let me inside. But the thing of it is, I do not remember meeting Governor Zell Miller. I don't remember meeting my fellow valedictorians from 180 school districts. The only thing I remember about that day was that guard who looked at me and told me I didn't belong. But when you make the phone calls you're making today, when you knock the doors you're knocking on Saturday, when you do the work you're going to do for the next 28 days, you all are helping me grab that key. And on November 6th, you're going to help me turn that lock. And on November 6th, I'm going to win the governorship and we're going to open those gates wide.